It's finally time for the March Madness bracket. Full perfect predictions right here. And we start with Auburn playing the winner of Alabama State in St. Francis, Pennsylvania. I will take Alabama State to beat St. Francis, Pennsylvania, and then get smoked by 35 to Auburn. 35. There you go. Now, next up is Louisville playing Creighton. And this is on a Saturday. No, it's not. This is a Thursday game. In Lexington, proximity to home gives Louisville basically a home game against Creighton on a Thursday. There's probably not going to be many Creighton fans traveling from Omaha, I guess. Is that where they're from? So give me Louisville over Auburn. Michigan at UC San Diego. Now Michigan is hot. They just won the Big Ten. But that doesn't mean we should be picking them over a team that forces a lot of turnovers. They also don't turn the ball over much, which is really good for a team like that to force turnovers and don't turn the ball over. They shoot a lot of threes. They make those threes. They play great defense. It's an ET12 seed pick. Now, Yale and Texas A&M, a lot of people will be picking Yale. They'll tell you that A&M is a bit overrated. But I still like them over Yale in this matchup. They will kind of be like that 13th team that everyone's going to pick, and they don't win. Is where I'm getting at from this Yale team. No, so, I do think that I actually do think that all the 13 seeds are really strong this year. But there's probably not going to be more than 2 winning. So yeah, give me Texas A&M. Ole Miss and the winner of San Diego State and North Carolina. I have no clue how North Carolina got in the bracket. I'll say that. But I will be taking San Diego State to beat North Carolina pretty easily, and then Ole Miss to beat San Diego State. And then matchup Sean Padula and Ole Miss, they can shoot threes. They score. It's pretty undervalued 6 seed this year, I think, is Ole Miss. Iowa State and Lipscomb. So this Iowa State team is battling some injuries. So, maybe they could lose to Lipscomb in the first round. But it's not going to happen. Give me Iowa State. Marquette in New Mexico in the next round. And I will be taking New Mexico and Richard Pitino. Not a big fan of Marquette and Cam Jones. In Richard Pitino in New Mexico, the number 1 seed in the Mountain West Conference. And they'll move on, and they'll play Michigan State. There's no way that Michigan State loses to New Mexico. Now we move to the east side. Duke wins over American. They'll be Mount St. Mary's. I'll have Baylor and VJ Edgecombe over Hubbard and Mississippi State. Mississippi State has not been playing well until recently. So I'll take Baylor to move on in the 8-9 matchup. I'll take Oregon for the win over Liberty. This is a 12 seed that I personally think is the weakest one. But that's just me, plus Oregon and Dana Altman. He always wins in March. I always say this, but it's true. I'll take Oregon over Liberty. No 13 seed upset here. We get an old Pac-12 matchup between Oregon and Arizona in the second round. One's in the Big Ten, one's in the Big 12. But it will be pretty fun to get 2, Big 12 teams. Not 2 Big 12 teams, 2 Pac-12 teams in the round of 32. 6 seed BYU over VCU. I actually do like BC, but that's the worst all they could have gotten is BYU. They probably could have beaten. You would have beat Illinois, and they probably would have beat Missouri, but their draw was weak. So give me BYU. Wisconsin over Montana. Wisconsin, I'm pretty high on. John Tonji, they have a great defense. Then St. Mary, same thing as Wisconsin. They have a great defense. And then Alabama over Robert Morris. So, the West region. Florida over Norfolk State. That's an easy pick. And then UConn over Oklahoma, which will set up a Florida-UConn second round matchup. That'll be a good one. There. Memphis and Colorado State. Give me Charles State, Colorado State. They're red hot right now. I'll take them over Memphis any day. Then Maryland and the Crab 5 over Grand Canyon. All-time great name for a team. The Crab 5. I mean, come on. Drake and Missouri. Drake and Ben. Oh gosh. McCollum. I think it's Ben McCollum. Sure, Drake usually makes the tournament. They made it with the Rise a lot. They also never won a tournament game with the Rise. But Ben McCollum is a proven winner. He won like 3 or 4 national titles with like Northwest Missouri State or whatever it was with in D2. Great offense and a great defense. Some big wins. They beat Vanderbilt. I'll take Drake over Missouri. Then, of course, I'll take Texas Tech over UNC Wilmington. Probably the best 14 seed in the tournament. They could have been a 13. After that, Arkansas and John Calipari over Bill Self. That'll be a fun matchup for sure. They actually played in the preseason, and I think Arkansas ended up winning that game. St. John's in Omaha. And folks, we have an upset here. I know I usually always pick against St. John's. I picked Towson over them like 4 times in my other bracketology stuff. So this time, let's take Omaha. The first ever time making the tournament for Omaha from the Summit League. They get it done over 2 seed St. John's. I just don't like the offense for St. John's. They don't shoot a lot of threes. So if Omaha comes out guns blazing, they shoot threes, they will run over St. John's, I think. Alright, moving on to the Midwest region. Houston over SIUE. It's pretty simple. Gonzaga over Georgia. The stats love Gonzaga. Like top 10 in Ken Palm, top 8 in the net. I was like Gonzaga over Georgia. Clemson over McNeese State. Clemson, a pretty good ACC team. No, 3rd in the conference. I just can't pick Will Wade and McNeese over him. So I'll take Clemson. And then here is my 13th seed. I'm taking High Point over Purdue. Very high scoring game here. The guard play from High Point. They make a run. They take down Purdue and Brain Smith, Trey Kaufman, Wren, and Fletcher Lawyer. Now, we have Illinois playing the winner of Texas and Xavier. I'll take Texas beating Xavier, but I will take Illinois over Texas. I'll take 3 seed Kentucky over 14 seed Troy. I'll take 7 seed UCLA. Moving on. And then I'll take Tennessee over Wofford. There we go. Back up to the South region, where I will sadly pick Auburn over Louisville. And yes, that is my team, but it's Auburn. It's been dominating all year. UC San Diego, Texas A&M, with a 12 seed, making a run to the Sweet 16. They defeat 4 seed Texas A&M. If we explain on racing with UC San Diego, they have a great team. They force a lot of turnovers. They get a lot of steals. They shoot a lot of threes. They can overpower A&M any day. They also overpower Auburn. But, anyways, Ole Miss, Iowa State. Give me Ole Miss over Iowa State with the injuries Iowa State has been having. And then, Ole Miss, they have Sean Padula, as I've already mentioned. I'm sure he'll come up clutch against Iowa State and win it for them. And then Michigan State over New Mexico. They just can't get it done. Plain and simple. Duke and Baylor. Duke, it's a pretty simple one. I'll take 5 seed Oregon over 4 seed Arizona. So, yeah, might be a little bit of a shocker to some. I'm sure a lot of people will be picking Liberty over Oregon. But once again, never doubt Dana Altman at Oregon, because he can always make a run. Wisconsin over BYU. No 6/3 here. Though I love BYU, Wisconsin has a great defense. Plus, they can score points with John Tonji. I'll take them. And then the high-powered Alabama offense easily runs through St. Mary's. And then they move on to the Sweet 16. Florida and UConn. This might be a sneaky game. Florida moves on. Maryland, Colorado State. I'll take Maryland over Colorado State in the Crab 5. This was a matchup that I predicted in the national championship for one of my bracket predictors earlier. So it sucks to have to play in the Sweet 16, but we'll see what happens. Drake over Texas Tech, and Sturts gets it done for Drake. They have a great defense and a great offense. They're kind of like UC San Diego in a way. Just great on both sides of the ball. I'm taking Drake. And John Calipari to the Sweet 16. When's the last time that happened? Probably 20 years ago. They move on over Omaha. No Sweet 16 run for 15 seed this year. Gonzaga over Houston. There you go. There's my early wood seed loser. Gonzaga is loved by Ken Palm. They're loved by the net. The stats love them. They're great on offense and defense as well. Gonzaga moving on to play High Point. The 13 seed High Point making a run to the Sweet 16. They take down Clemson with their high-powered offense. Illinois over Kentucky. Another upset in this region. They're a team meant on streaks. They get hot, and they'll start winning games. And then Tennessee over UCLA. Just there's so many weapons on Tennessee's roster, you can never count them out. Here we go. Sweet 16 matchups here. Auburn, UC San Diego. I'll be taking Auburn. Would love to pick UC San Diego, but it's just not going to happen. And then Michigan State over Ole Miss, which stinks, but it's going to happen. Duke in Oregon. Oregon gets it done. Cooper Flag is probably not going to be at full strength in the tournament. And in the Sweet 16, I think Oregon knocks them out. 5 seed to the Elite 8 to face off against fellow Big Ten team Wisconsin. Wisconsin just overpowers Alabama. Play great defense, and they're moving on. Maybe the Crimson Tide have a bad shooting night, And Wisconsin takes full advantage of that, and maybe Tonji shoots well like he's been doing all tournament long for them. So Wisconsin takes out 2 high-powered offensive teams back-to-back. Onto the Elite Eight. Ow. Florida, Maryland. I'm taking Florida to move on over Maryland. And then 11th seed Drake and Sturts. Make an Elite Eight push. As an 11th seed, the double-digit 11th seed, we saw it last year. Can Drake do it again? Gonzaga High Point. I'm taking the Zags. No questions asked. Though High Point could make a run. It's possible they make a run. The Elite Eight, but it's not going to happen. Gonzaga over them. And then Tennessee over Illinois. Back up. Elite Eights. We're taking 2-seeded Michigan State over Auburn. This in Atlanta. Shocking. Shocking here for Auburn. Great season. They just can't get it done to make the Final Four. Oregon, Wisconsin and Greg Gard moving on to the Final Four. 2 Big Ten teams already. Florida, Drake. I'm taking Florida. This is a no-brainer. For Florida, they just overpower Drake in this matchup. Gonzaga, Tennessee. Can we see an 8 seed moving on to the Final Four? I think yes, we will. The upset. So, it's Michigan State, Florida, Wisconsin, and Gonzaga in the Final Four. First, let's start with Wisconsin and Gonzaga, where Wisconsin ends Gonzaga's run. 3 seed to the national championship. Hasn't happened in 5 years, but it's going to happen this time. Speaking of 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, Michigan State made the Final Four as a 2 seed in 2019 by knocking out the number 1 overall seed. But same thing happens as last time, and Florida wins. So Michigan State knocked out in the Final Four. So it's Florida and Wisconsin. Surprising here for Wisconsin to make it this far. And Florida is probably the tournament favorite right now. And the favorite will get it done. There's just too many weapons on Florida's roster. Guard play, forward play, center play. They are not stopped. They just won the SEC. Beat Alabama by 22 points. Beat Tennessee by 9. This team is sensational. 154 is how many points were scored in the national championship game. And there you go. That is the NCAA tournament predictions. Florida, national champions.